today I do want to speak about Mats Wieffer. He is a 24-year-old central defensive midfielder that does represent the Netherlands and Feyenoord. And so yes, Mats Wieffer is currently playing at his home country. Even at the age of 24 years old, he has not made that big move into the top 5 leagues in Europe. He signed a contract with his current club back in 2022, and his contract does not end until 2027. He's a right-footed central defensive midfielder that can also play as a central midfielder and as a center back. Currently, he is priced at 20 to 25 million euros, which means that no matter how good or how bad he is, this is a very cheap transfer fee. Currently, he is having one of the best seasons like ever in his career. He has played 38 matches and has scored 6 goals and provided 4 assists, and it's expected for him to improve on top of these stats and get even better. In the league that he does play in, he is in 6th place when it comes to passes into the final third, in 4th place when it comes to progressive passes, 4th place in terms of tackles, 6th place in terms of tackles won, 4th with dribblers tackled. He's number 1 in the league when it comes to blocks with a total of 60. In terms of interceptions, he is in 2nd place. Even with the amount of touches, he ranks in 6th place within the league. So you can see that Mats Wieffer is a very defensive, central defensive midfielder that knows how to tackle, knows how to do interceptions. He tackles the dribblers a lot, which is why he's ranked in 4th place, and he does win a lot of those tackles. It's very impressive. And recently, I did also make a video about Amadou Onana, a central defensive midfielder that has been prioritized by Barcelona. Mats Wieffer isn't as prioritized as Onana, but if you compare these two players, you can just see how much better Wieffer is when it comes to defensive actions and almost in everything, even with the progressive passes, the key passes, the forward passes, completion, forward passes, in total, carrying the ball. Wieffer is that guy. Now, here's the thing. Context really does matter, because when I was looking at the defensive actions and just how well he is within that discipline, we also have to look at the type of league that he is playing in, because he plays in a league that is in the Netherlands. When you compare that to the Premier League, which is where Onana is, of course, maybe you could see Onana have lower numbers when it comes to defensive actions. How will Wieffer react to playing in the Premier League? Because the Premier League is just so much more competitive and way more physical. This is the reason why I'm not too hot on this central defensive midfielder, because I do want to see this player perform at a higher level within a higher league. Because one of the things that I do question is, can Wieffer be press resistant? Because what if the opponents press Wieffer a lot and he cannot deal with the pressure when he is in possession? That's very important, and it's especially important at Barcelona, because you need to be press resistant. You need to be press resistant as a central defensive midfielder. Look at what happened with Oriol Romeu. We thought that he was, and every time he carries the ball now, he loses the ball. He gets nervous. He misplaces the passes, and we cannot allow that to happen with someone like Mats Wieffer, because again, all of this could be an illusion because of the type of league that he does play in. And I was looking at the type of teams he does play against. They're not that physical, and they don't press a lot. Being in La Liga or the Premier League is way different, and so I'm assuming that if he does end up going to either La Liga or the Premier League, he's going to be exposed to so much more physicalness. It's not even going to be funny, which is why I do say that this could be a gamble for us to incorporate the player. Now, I know that he's cheaper, but still, 25 million euros is 25 million euros. That can go for somebody else. Now, I'll give one positive about the player. He's been linked heavily to Atletico Madrid, meaning that Diego Simeone does see potential in this player, because Simeone wanted him 2 months ago, back in January. Like, he really badly wanted the player to reinforce the CDM role. And I think that that also explains a lot on just how well Mats Wieffer could adapt to La Liga, because if Diego Simeone, who's a very defensive coach, wants someone like Wieffer, maybe he sees something that we don't see. Maybe he believes that there is something that he could exploit from the player, and that's a very positive sign. Maybe Barcelona also see the exact same thing, but in the end, this would also mean that Barcelona have competition, because if they ever do fail on either getting Zubimendi or Amadou Onana or Kimmich, whoever, and they have to go through like multiple players, right? Because remember, we consider so many options within one position. Remember last year when we were considering 3 to 4 different right wingers like Bernardo Silva, Lo Celso, and even Messi. We were considering a lot of different options. The same thing is going to go on with the CDM role. If it doesn't work with Kimmich, Onana, or Zubimendi, then yes, Barcelona will have to heavily compete with Atletico Madrid for Mats Wieffer. Mateo Moreto also wanted to report that Wieffer is not a priority for Barcelona this summer. Although he remains on the agenda for Diego Simeone, Everton's Amadou Onana remains as their top target. And if they cannot afford a deal for Amadou Onana, they will look for a similar profile to him rather than someone like Wieffer. So let me tell you guys, the way that we are viewing this player, like yes, we could say that he's good, but let me tell you, he is around the 4th to 5th option to reinforce the CDM role and to be the first or second option over Andreas Christensen. Christensen. Mats Wieffer has also confirmed earlier this month about the links with him and Atletico Madrid, and this is what he said. It's true, Atletico Madrid made an approach for me. I was open to the move and there were talks between the clubs, but it did not materialize. And I wonder why the move never happened. I wonder why Mats Wieffer could not make the move, because what if the agent is looking for other offers and better offers for the player? That is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on in this summer. In the end, I do see this player as a much more defensive Frankie de Jong. Like, they play very similar and I can't understand why, because they come from the same national team. They're both from the Netherlands. You would assume, right, that with these two players playing together at Barcelona, they would greatly understand each other, adapt to one another, because they already know each other. They can speak to each other in the same language. And so that duo can turn to something special if we can work hard on it and the player has the desire to really compete heavily with the FC Barcelona. It can potentially be an exciting move, but as of now, we're going to have to see more data. I'm not truly convinced on the player, but only time will tell. Let's see what he does for these next 2 to 3 months in this season, and we'll see what type of options Barcelona will have in the summer. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.